Hey everyone. I wanted to do a video about what do you do when you come back from a con because I just got back from a con. Sort of just got back. I actually got back like 2 days ago, but I haven't unpacked yet because I hate unpacking. But I'll show you how to do it because it's kind of important in order to keep your costumes nice for a long time and make them last for many different events and conventions. The way that you unpack and store them can make a big difference. So I'm going to show you guys how to clean and inspect your costume when you get back from the convention. That way, when you have another one coming up, there's no surprises and not as much of a crunch before the con. You'll have a way of knowing what you need to do on your costume. Things always break or get scraped or whatever, so as you're unpacking, you can check that and I'll show that process. But first, a little bit about the convention. So the con I just got back from was TFCon. It was a Transformers convention in Burbank, and it's been 3 years since there's been a TFCon anywhere. Obviously 2 years since there's really been very many cons at all, and then another year before that was when the last one was. So it was really cool getting to go back there, see all my friends again. It was funny because it really felt like coming home, even though it's in another city. Like, I don't live in Burbank, so we brought all of our costumes out there and then brought them all back. So in total, our two vehicles had 7 costumes in them, and 3 of those costumes were giant robots. So I'll show you guys my giant robot. He's in these 2 boxes, along with pieces of my other 2 costumes, because I wore 3 costumes. So here's a few pictures of what we did at the con. I was Prime Starscream, so here's what he looks like. And because I've done this process of post-con maintenance on him, that's the reason why he's lasted through, I believe, 16 different events now that I've brought him to. And then we also had our Prime Soundwave and some human former versions of the characters, which is where you get clothing and wigs and things that represent the features of a non-human character. So we had a Transformers Prime Human Formers group. That was us, Cosplay Superior, which is our Transformers group that we have in Tucson, Arizona. And then I also cosplayed the G1 Starscream so that I can be the spotter for my friend Sharon in her first mecha costume, which was G1 Sea Spray, that she did the Arizona Autobots, which is a group out of Phoenix, Arizona, a Transformers group. So we were representing Arizona out there in Burbank, and now we're back. So here we go. I'll show you guys the process of the unpacking. So here's my 2 bins that have armor in them. And so when I pack for a convention, I have them set up a little bit differently than when I have them stored in my house, because I don't like to store all my costumes smushed together. So in these bins, I packed in the clothing for my other 2 non-armor cosplays. So I'm going to show you guys how do you sort out and keep track of the washable parts of an armor costume, and also how do you clean and maintain the parts that can't go in the washing machine, because obviously you're not going to throw foam armor in the washing machine. It would get destroyed. So here's first bin, and then I have another bin. I'm not going to unpack them all in the video, but I'll show you kind of an example of what to do. So I have parts of all 3 costumes. So what I do with each piece is I take it out. This is a boot for G1 Starscream, and I just kind of inspect the piece. And this one's fine, so I can set it aside in its own pile for that costume. And then this is a boot for the Prime Starscream. So as I'm looking at this boot, I did see that the red paint is a little bit peeling right here on the buckle. So what I do then is I have my cosplay notebook. This has notes and lists and things of every time I make a costume, it goes in here. So I have dated the page, and I'm gonna list the costume and what it needs done. So human TFP, and I'm just gonna say boot paint. That way I know later, when I have some time, to check that out and make sure that I adjust it. And basically I just do that for each piece. So here's the other boot. This one also has the same type of thing going on. It's on the inside, so it's not that noticeable, but it's probably because if I was walking, the boots probably scraped against each other. And so now that they're both like that, I am going to put ×2. Just to note to myself, that it's both boots. Okay, so here's an example of something that is clothing, but needs a little bit more than just an inspection. So this is a vinyl jacket. I don't want to throw this in the washing machine, but it needs to be washed because cosplay is very sweaty. I'm also inspecting, every time I have a vinyl jacket, I inspect the entire jacket because vinyl peels. And if it starts to peel, you need to put some nail polish on there, some clear nail polish right away, or it will get worse. This one's pretty new. Usually the shoulders and the back of the neck are what peels, but this one looks fine. But one of the days at the convention, the day I happened to be wearing this was very, very hot. So I'm gonna turn it inside out. And I'm gonna, because it was, not to be gross, so cosplay has a lot of gross parts. And the grossest part is how sweaty it is. Like you can imagine being in a convention hall full of vendors and several thousand people and not really any AC and a vinyl jacket, it's sweaty and gross. So what I do is I just get alcohol and I put it in a little squirt bottle. I put a few drops of peppermint essential oil in here just to make it smell kind of fresh, but the alcohol will do its job just on its own. And all I do is I just kind of spritz down the fabric lining of the jacket. And that'll kill any germs and neutralize any like sweaty smells. And then next time I wear it, it'll be fresh. And then I just I leave it inside out until it air dries. And the alcohol dries really fast. It's one of the nice things about it. I'm just gonna toss it on the couch. All right, so now we're getting into the actual like armor that was underneath there. So I have a piece of my sunglasses, a piece of my Starscream armor. This is the armor that goes around the middle. And this definitely cannot go in the washing machine. So same thing, I'm gonna open up the inside of the armor and I'm just gonna give it a little spray. The alcohol will not hurt the foam at all. It's perfectly safe to use on foam. And I just spray it down, set it aside, and that's that. I'm gonna show you a couple more pieces and then kind of end. So these are the clothes that you wear underneath the armor. So I just have leggings and I have a shirt, and these just go right in the washing machine, no problem. They're just absolutely normal clothing. And also have these like hood balaclavas. If you're wearing a mask or a helmet of any kind, these are what you need under it to keep your hair like flat and tight, and it just makes everything slide on and off a lot more easily. So these are going in the laundry. And then one more thing though that you sometimes have to consider is like things that are clothing that aren't really. So this costume is an odd one because even though it's armor, it's built around a corset. So here's a corset. And this is the sweatiest, grossest piece of my costume. But it's also fabric, but it's also metal. So do I put it in the washing machine or do I not? The answer for me is yes, I do put this in the washing machine. It's fine. However, it also has these straps that I just attached to it. And right now they're set at a certain length, and I just hot glued where that length was because I did this at the con. Sometimes you are hot gluing pieces of your costume minutes before wearing it, which is the situation that I found myself in. So because this is hot glue, this will not survive hot water in the washing machine, nor will it survive going in the dryer. I don't usually put my corsets in the dryer unless I'm in a huge hurry. But what I'm gonna do before I throw this in the washing machine is I'm just gonna sew this. I'm gonna either hand stitch it or run it underneath my heavy duty sewing machine, just so that when that glue inevitably like comes loose in the wash, the strap won't loosen. These straps attach from the bottom of the corset and they hold the leg armor at the right height. So that's just one thing I'm going to put a note of in my book, is to make sure and stitch the corset straps. And this costume has probably, I want to say like 15 pieces to it. So it's in the process of unpacking. That's why I definitely write stuff down, because I'd forget like that. So stitch the corset straps, and then this can also go in the laundry. Show you guys a couple more pieces of the Human Former one. I mean, not the Human Former, the main Transformer one. So for the legs, the legs are another one that gets kind of sweaty. I'm just gonna take these out and put the lid back on so you guys can see. Here, take a look. So the inside of the bin is full of armor, and then the legs were right here. And then the other bin, oh no, my cord doesn't reach. The other bin looks basically the same, just different armor. So there's a lot in there. And I'm gonna take out the head. So the head helmet is a piece that I don't store in the bin, because like this kind of thing happens. I want the eyebrows to kind of stay relaxed, and then the face also I don't save in the bin. I keep these guys out and I store them on a foam wig head. So that's the kind of thing where going to the convention, it's safe in there, it travels well, but I don't leave that particular piece in there. Plus I like to have it on my shelf. I have a few cosplay pieces that are cool looking, and I like to have them out, and that is cool. So for the legs, same type of thing. These are 100% foam. There's elastic on the inside and metal on the inside to keep everything reinforced. You can see the other side of the buckle. This is what connects to the bottom of the corset. The legs like that. And again, just simple. Spritz down the inside with that alcohol and let it air dry. And then same thing here. So yeah, that's all you have to do for your putting away foam. Is anything that is foam that is like tight to your body is going to get very sweaty. Foam doesn't breathe, so yeah, it's pretty sweaty. My gloves also. These are my my Starscream gloves. They're fabric gloves that I got at a costume shop, and I glued foam over them to create his talons. And the glove is fabric, and it gets pretty sweaty. So just give it a spritz with alcohol. Lay them both out, and just all the way from fingers to elbows. Just clean it with alcohol. And then once everything's dry, it just goes back in there. Yeah, that's the process. I always take the batteries out of my costumes if I'm storing them for a long time. So this battery pack inside the mask turns the eyes on and off. However, it's not good to store batteries in your thing for a long time, because if the batteries should leak, it can corrode your battery pack. So take out your batteries, and I have a little box, a little lunch box that I keep batteries in, and I have a Ziploc for ones that are still okay, and then I have the rechargeable ones from my other video in there as well. So once these are at the end of their life, I'll be using the rechargeable ones in this guy. And I'll link that video if you're interested down below. So yeah, just to kind of go through it again, when you're unpacking your large, complicated cosplays, take out anything that is 100% fabric and can be washed. If anything has hot glue or even super glue, you might want to stitch over the glue before putting it in a hot wash or a dryer. And then anything that can't go in the washer and dryer, if it's next to your skin, any tight-fitting armor, just spray it down with alcohol, let it dry, and then repack it nicely long-term. And then also inspect each piece as you take it out of your boxes, make a list of repairs or touch-ups that are needed, and then just hopefully get around to that list before the next con. Yeah, if you check out Cosplay Superior, I'll put the links to the Tumblr and Instagram and Twitter and stuff down below. We have pics from TFCon. It was like, oh, it was so cool being back at a con. And then my next video is going to be hopefully pretty soon, because once this stuff gets put away, I'll actually have room to get out the next 2 costumes that I have to finish before the next con, which is in 2 months, which is Phoenix Fan Fusion, and I'm going to be doing 2 Destiny characters at that con, and then I haven't decided what my 3rd character on Sunday is going to be. But yeah, look forward to that video soon. It's not going to be a very complicated one. It's just going to be a bit of a, an update. So, yeah. If you want to see more updates on cons, make sure that you subscribe, because now the convention season is back, and we've got big plans this year for a bunch of Transformer stuff. So we'll be posting that, and yeah, looking forward to the convention season. It's back on, baby. Yes.